name is Pauline Lam of Cotai Realty. A few housekeeping tips. All participants will be muted, and should you have a question or a comment, please enter it into the chat box. The host will read it during the Q&A section of the meeting. Please remember to join us weekly, as we will have our virtual Emerald Breakfast meeting every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. A little about me. My name is Pauline Lam. I'm your May Emerald Monthly Program Chair. Please remember to follow WSGBR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all our pre-recorded video on YouTube. WSGBR now offers text message updates. Text WSGBAR to the number 313131. Today's agenda consists of our affiliate spotlight. The present message given by 2020 President Mindy Yan, and followed by our guest speaker, Ms. Megan Barber, Compliance Manager at CRMLS. Today, our affiliate spotlight is Mario Manzanilla, Rates 1 Financial, brought to you by Affiliates Committee. Take it away, Mario.
Well, yes, good morning, everyone. I am Mario Manzanilla. I past affiliate chair a few years back, longtime member of the West San Gabriel Association of Realtors. I really appreciate this opportunity to be with you today, given all of these circumstances. I do miss your personal meetings, and I really hope to see everybody soon at our regular meetings. During this time of the pandemic and this special circumstances, we all have the opportunity to use our hibernation, convert it into incubation. And what that I mean, we can up our level of skills and become stronger than we were before. I chose the pick right, as you can see. I am with Grandmaster Takayuki Kubota, from the founder of the International Karate Association. And there's a particular reason why I picked this picture, and that is because the philosophy that I've been trained with in the martial arts is the Bushido spirit, which is the spirit of the way of the warrior, which really is the mind, body, and spirit working together. And this is, you don't need to be a martial artist to practice this, particularly on the mindset of gratitude and being focused. So remember, just as a thing, the sun will always shine. So there will be a lot of great things happening after all of this, when we're all said and done. Now, I am also a reverse mortgage specialist, and what I do, I'm very passionate about helping seniors and your clients to solve the retirement problem. We know that, particularly now with this pandemic, you know, there will be a lot of seniors that will be suffering, whether they need to buy a home or get themselves into position in a financial position where they can be a loan for them to be stable during all of this instability and insecurity, which, for what I heard, might take a while to stabilize. So with that, I'm also going to be doing an in-depth presentation about reverse mortgages. You will see that coming up, and I look forward to do those presentations, so it will be more in-depth information about how that can help your clients and in long-term planning and creating financial stability for our senior community. With that, I really thank you all for this opportunity, and Pauline, back to you.
Perfect, Mario. Please remember to support affiliates with your incoming transaction. Next, Mindy Yan for her president message. Mindy. Mindy, are you ready?
Yeah, thank you. I was not unmuted. Thank you. Thank you, Pauline. Good morning, WSGVR family and guests. I'm Mindy Ye, your 2020 president. Happy Memorial Day next Monday. I'm hopeful and that our economy will be opening soon. Thank you for attending our CRMLS breakfast meeting. And we are thankful for your continued support as a valuable member of the West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. Please remember our leadership team and staff are here for you. I would also like to thank our guest speaker today, Megan Barber, Compliance Manager with CRMLS. In the interest of time, I would like to share some highlights with all of you. On May 15th, CAR released new form to help members comply with industry guidelines on showing properties. On May 8th, the Department of Public Health issued new industry guidance for real estate transactions. Included in the guidance is the requirement that agents post roofs on the property with picogram that must be agreed to as a condition to enter by the people viewing the property. CAR is in the process of creating a comprehensive approach that will allow any brokerage to comply with all aspects of new industry guidance. In the meantime, posting both the new form and the PEA form together at the entrance to a property will assist agents and brokerage in complying in parts with new industry guidance until the comprehensive approach is released. Basically, what that is that they need to wear face masks, they need to wear gloves and shoe covers, and not to have fever, in order to enter the property and show it with also 6 feet social distance. In an interview with CBS 60 Minutes air Sunday, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell posted new warnings. Powell stated economic recoveries could take more than a year and stretches through the end of 2021. Unemployment rate is at 14.7% in April and is expected to raise up to 25%. For CAR as Wednesday, Federal Housing Finance Agency, FHFA, announces payment deferral as new repayment options for homeowners in COVID-19 forbearance plans. To help homeowners who are in COVID-19 related forbearance, FHFA has announced that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the enterprises, are making available a new payment deferral option. The payment deferral option allows borrowers who are able to return to making their normal monthly mortgage payments the ability to pay their missed payments at the time the home is sold, refinance, or at maturity. For homeowners in forbearance due to COVID-19, payment deferral allows them to make up to missed forbearance payments when they sell their home or refinance, says HFA Director Mark Calabria. This new forbearance repayment solution responsible simplifies options for homeowners while providing an additional tool for mortgage servicers. Borrowers who can pay their mortgage should, because missed payments remains an obligation that will ultimately have to be paid. DRE, the Department of Real Estate announced that all real estate exams are canceled through May 31st. Examinees affected by this cancellation will be allowed to reschedule the canceled exam stay and using DRE licensing systems. Exam rescheduling fees will be waived for canceled exams. Just a reminder, WSGVR 20 candidate package is due today by 5 p.m. There are 6 director positions available. If you wish to be placed as a nominee or nominate someone as a nominee, please return your completed candidate form ASAP by emailing it to angelica@wsgvar.com and albert@wsgvar.com. Due to COVID-19, elections will be held on July 30th instead of June. I would like to thank the candidates whom already submitted their completed packages. I hope to continue practicing the social distance, stay healthy, stay strong, stay positive, and most importantly, practice peace and gratitude daily during these turbulent times. Please join us next Thursday, May 28, 9 a.m. We will have affiliate home inspection panel discussions. Additional information will be available by the end of this weekend. Thank you, Pauline, and everyone. Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you, Mindy. Now, thank you, Mindy. Now, it's my great honor to introduce you our special speaker today, Ms. Megan Barber. Megan Barber served as Compliance Manager of California Regional Multiple Listing Service, CRMLS, since September 2018. Megan started her career at CRMLS as a customer care representative in 2015. When 2016, she moved into as compliance analyst and being promoted as compliance supervisor in 2018. At same year, she has been promoted as compliance manager of CRMLS. Megan holds a BA degree in the art history from UCLA. Let's give Megan a very warm welcome for her presentation, Clear Cooperation Policy. Here is Megan. Megan.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Pauline. All right. It looks like I'm not able to share my screen. Angie, are you able to enable me to share my screen?
I just made you a co-host. I should be able to now.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right.
We see it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to everybody about the Clear Cooperation Policy. This was in effect as of May 1st of this year. And I'm going to go ahead and go into some of the background of why this policy came about. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into the policies and the rule changes with you guys. So why it came about, the MLS, the local level, the MLSs and the associations have been receiving a lot of reports and concerns regarding pocket listings, listings that show dual agencies, coming soon listings that weren't in the MLS, and all kinds of related issues. And this actually went up to the national level. So NAR eventually started receiving those same reports and those same concerns. And what they did was they actually, with their Emerging Issues and Technology Advisory Board, they proposed the rule that was given to us. And when it was taken in front of the MLS Policy Committee, it was approved by 90%. When it was taken to the Board of Directors, it passed by 92%. So definitely majority voted for this rule. And what they did was they gave us the policy and said, here you go, implement it by May 1st, and that's what we did. So the policy that we were given is right here in front of you. And what it states is that within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with the other MLS participants. Public marketing includes, but is not limited to, flyers displayed in windows, yard signs, digital marketing and public-facing websites, brokerage website displays, including IDX and VOW, digital communication marketing, which are email blasts, multi-brokerage listing sharing networks, and applications available to the general public. Okay, so what this is saying in short is that if you are publicly marketing a property, you have to put that property in the MLS within 1 business day of the marketing. Okay, right now this policy only affects residential vacant lots and land, and residential 1 to 4 unit properties. So what that means is that anything from an SFR to a quadruplex is required to be entered in the MLS if there is public marketing. Okay. Now, what CRMLS did was we took that policy and we implemented it like they asked us to, right? So this is Rule 7.9. We've modified it. It basically says exactly what was said in the previous slide, but CRMLS went a step further. Okay, so at the very bottom of this rule, it identifies who a client is or who the public is not. Okay, so what it says is that any individual or entity that has signed within the previous year a disclosure regarding real estate agency relationship form in compliance with CA Civil Code section 2079.16 that identifies a listing broker shall not be considered a member of the public under this rule. Okay, so if you are working with someone or an entity and they've signed the disclosure form and it lists your brokerage and they've signed it within the previous year, you can disclose information regarding a property that is not in the MLS. Okay, you can disclose that with them. But as soon as you go and you advertise or market that property to people that are not on that form, that do not have a disclosure form with your brokerage firm, that is considered a member of the public. Okay? So my next slide here further identifies that concept, right? So if you are going onto Zillow, posting a coming soon sign, or you are posting an open house sign, a for sale sign, if you're sending out email blasts and the recipient of that advertising has not signed a disclosure form that lists your brokerage firm, you are marketing to the public and you are now required to put that listing into the MLS within 1 business day of your marketing. Okay, it's very important to know who you are talking to and who you are disclosing information to regarding the properties that are not on the MLS. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into the prior process, which is still in place, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then we'll go into some processes once the registered status becomes available. So before 5.4 and what's happening now still is within 2 business days of the listing contract date, you are either putting the MLS or putting the listing in the MLS, or you are filing exclusion with CRMLS. Okay. You have to do one or the other within the 2 business days. Okay. Now, if you are excluding that property, then the seller has to have instructed you to do so. So if you have a property that's not on the MLS and the seller did not tell you, hey, I want you to exclude this, and they have not signed that document, you cannot exclude it. Okay, so it's very important to get a CAR, SDLM, or an equivalent exclusion form prior to excluding the listing. But that's the process as of 5.4. Okay, now the new process is similar, but we have different limitations. Okay, so as of now, you are still to send us the exclusion forms. Okay, so registered is the status that is becoming available to you in the future, summer of 2020. But as of right now, until that's in place, still submit your exclusion forms. Okay, that's very important. But right now, what is happening is you still have 2 business days to either enter the listing in the MLS or file the exclusion form. Okay, and that's if you're not doing any marketing at all once the listing agreement is signed and is in effect. Okay, so you can either exclude the listing, put it in as coming soon or active. Okay, if you're going to do marketing, public marketing, as soon as that listing goes into effect, then now you only have 1 day, 1 business day. Okay, so then it goes back to that 7.9 rule, right? So again, if you are publicly marketing the property, you have to put that property into the MLS within 1 business day. If you have a listing that's in effect and you're not doing any marketing, you have 2 business days, okay? Again, when you go to register the listing, you still need to get that exclusion form signed and filled in. The only change that's happening is instead of filing the exclusion form with us, you're then going to register the property, okay? So this slide here is talking about differences in statuses. You'll notice that there are coming soon, 2 new statuses, coming soon and registered, okay? So I'm going to start with active and then move to the left. So active is the same as it always has been, right? So you can market the property, you can show the property, it's going out to third-party sites, meaning Zillow, Trulia, all those sites are getting it. So everything is working the way that it always has. It's the same as it always has been. Going to coming soon, it is limited. Okay, you have limited ability or limited workflows with coming soon. You have restrictions in coming soon. So it's very important to note the differences that I'm about to tell you. Okay, so when you have a property in the coming soon status, you can market the property. Okay, you can talk to your client or you can publicly market. So you can put a for sale sign up, you can distribute as you want to. It's going to be displayed in the MLS. There's commission that's being offered because it is a complete listing that is available to all CRMLS membership, but there is no days on market being accrued. Okay, and the reason we're able to do that is because we have limited distribution, meaning we are not sending it out to Zillow, Trulia, all those third-party sites. Okay, so the CRMLS membership will see it. So if you go in and you run a search, you can put coming soon as a status. You can see other coming soon listings within the MLS, but they will not be distributed to Zillow, Trulia, all the other third-party sites. Okay. Another caveat to coming soon is there are no showings. Okay, no showings at all whatsoever. So if you have a property in the status of coming soon, you cannot show that property even if you are the listing agent or the broker and you want to show that property to your client, you cannot do it. Okay, you have to put that listing in the status of active and then show the property. Okay. The other caveat and the last caveat to coming soon is it's only able to be in the status of coming soon for 21 days. Okay, so that's 21 consecutive days. So if you're putting a listing into the status of coming soon, you have all the way up until 21 days to keep that in coming soon. On the 22nd day, it will change to active. Okay, now you can put it in coming soon for a week or 2 weeks if you want it to be shorter than the 21-day time frame, but you just cannot go over that 21-day time frame. Okay, if you want to make any modifications to the showing start date, then you have to do it before that listing goes active. Once that listing goes to from coming soon to active or a different status, you cannot go back. So it's a very difficult process because there's pretty much no way to do it. Okay, so just be very, very mindful that when you're putting a listing in coming soon, it's not going to active prematurely because of a date that you have in there that is wrong. Okay. Now going on to registered, this is the most limited, the most restricted status. And the reason for it is it's not really a true complete listing. Okay, so when you have a listing in the status of registered, it's more like an incomplete. We're asking you to just register that property so we know that that property is meant to be off the MLS. Okay, because again, the registered is going to take over the submission of the exclusion form. Now you still have to get your form signed, the SELM or equivalent, you still need to get that form signed, but you just don't have to submit it to us. Okay, instead of submitting that to us, you're going to add that listing in the MLS as registered. Okay, now when it's entered as registered, there's no marketing. Okay, you can again talk to your client about the listing or the property, but you can't publicly market. Okay, once you publicly market, you now are bound to coming soon or active, right? It's not being displayed in the MLS because, like I said, it is only an incomplete listing. There's no commission being offered, no days on market. We're not distributing it anywhere. Something to note with registered is that only you will see it as the listing agent, your broker will see it, your office manager will see it, and MLS AOR staff will see it. That's it. Even listing agents within your office will not see this listing, okay? The 5 fields that they're going to ask for is address, listing contract date, price, expiration date, and marketing start date, okay? Marketing start date is the date that it's going to go active in the MLS. Now, again, you can change that if it needs to be changed. You just go in, edit your registered listing, and modify that date. Any of those fields can be modified at any point while in the registered status, okay? Now, again, this reiterates what I've mentioned a couple times throughout this presentation, is that when registered becomes available, you will need to register your property instead of submitting the exclusion form. You still have to get it filled out, you still have to get it signed, you just need to keep it on file and register that listing, okay? Any listing that is currently on an exclusion form, you can just keep doing what you're doing. So until registered becomes available, keep sending us those forms. Any agreement that's in effect after registered becomes available, register that property, okay? You'll notice that the CRMLS exclusion form has been taken down. That's no longer available because days on market is irrelevant now. So the SCLM or equivalent will work for your exclusion. In addition to the statuses, you'll see additional listing measures. Right now we have DOM. Okay, so you'll also see days not active, days in pending, and days listed. So days listed is just a sum of the bullet points above it. So you'll basically be able to see everything that happened with that listing and for how long. It gives you a little bit of, we're being a little transparent in regards to the activity of that listing. This information will be at the very bottom of the agent full next to the DOM field. So all of this information will be in the same location for you. Going to the rule changes, so availability to show or inspect, everything in red has been added. The only change here is we've advised that coming soon or hold properties cannot be shown, okay? 10.1 was modified. We've added coming soon as the definition, and we've defined that status, and it states exactly what I've stated previously in my presentation. Again, if you're going to advertise a coming soon property as a coming soon, you have to disclose that it's coming soon, and you have to disclose when it will become available. Okay, it's very important. And again, you cannot show. Entering a listing as coming soon in Matrix is really easy. You need to make sure that you are selecting coming soon on the status tab on the listing input. Okay, this is a new tab, so it's very easy to overlook it, but make sure you're clicking coming soon. If you do not click coming soon and you accidentally enter your listing as active, now CRMLS has to get involved and remove that listing, and you have to basically re-enter the listing. Okay, so just make sure you have coming soon selected as your status on the very first tab of the listing input. When you get to the Office MLS tab, you'll see the showing start date. Again, this is the date that the listing will go active. Okay, it could be the entire 21-day time frame, or it could be a sooner date. It's really up to the seller at that point. Okay, but make sure that you are putting that showing start date in there, and then everything else is just entered as it normally is with a new listing. Coming soon status must be accompanied or supported by a coming soon form. Okay, you cannot use the coming soon status unless you have the form filled out and signed by the seller. Okay, so if the seller is not signing the form, then you cannot use the coming soon status. Okay, it's very, very important to get this filled out prior to using the status. Similar to the exclusion form, once register becomes available, you do not need to submit it to us. Just have it on file for your personal records or your office records. Okay, so again, very important to get this in writing from the seller. You can go to the Clear Cooperation policy webpage. You can also go to zip form, and you can also go to the compliance webpage at CRMLS.org. All three locations will have access to this form, okay? Now holds, like I mentioned, we updated holds and it's now mirroring coming soon. So hold, you cannot show the property. And if you're advertising a property that's in the status of hold, you must indicate when it will become available and that it's not currently available, okay? Now the citation policy, this is very different. Okay, so we have a sliding scale for these violations rather than a straight citation amount. So any violation of the 4 rules here will be 1% of the list price. Minimum fine is $500 and it's not to exceed $2,500. Okay, so if you are found in violation, it very well could be the biggest citation that you've received. But just keep in mind that this was approved by the board of directors, okay? So anything that you have regarding this can go to your MLS committee at your association, and then it can be brought up at a rules committee meeting. But as of right now, this is what we have, okay? Now you will receive a warning before each citation is issued. So just keep in mind that your email address on roster must be correct, okay? If you need help fixing that or updating that, make sure you go to your association or make sure you're calling CRMLS's customer care department, and then they will help you to update that. But you need to make sure your email addresses are correct because that's how we communicate with you, okay? Some of the next steps that you'll see are registered and the additional listing measures, okay? Like I mentioned, summer 2020 is when registered is expected to be available. So just make sure that, again, you're submitting the exclusion forms to us until registered becomes available. Okay, after registered is available, you'll need to submit the listing as a registered online on MLS. And this is the last slide I have for you. So we have the Clear Cooperation resources page, which is identified here on the slide. You can go to crmls.org, click on this tile, and you find FAQs. You can find the slide deck that I just went over with you. Additional resources are there for you regarding this topic. If you have questions or feedback, you can email clearcooperation@crmls.org. We will get back to you. We are answering those in the order that they are received, so you might have a slight delay, but just know that we are getting back to you, okay? And as of right now, I know I threw a lot at you, but as of right now, this is the end of my presentation. So if we have time, we can open it up for any questions we might have.
Thank you, Megan, for your detailed information to explain how do we can do the clear cooperation followed by this policy. Let's move to the Q&A question right now. Q&A section. The first question: what about agents that advertise on Facebook, WeChat, social media as coming soon?
You can do that as long as the property is in the MLS as coming soon. You can do that. Now, if the property is not on the MLS, then you have 1 business day to get it in the MLS as coming soon. But as long as it's in a coming soon status, you can mark it on Facebook, Zillow, anywhere you'd like.
Great. The next one from Renee Wu. She's asking, do we have to put everything all over again from coming soon to active?
No, so you would just go in and update the status like you normally would. So when you go in to edit it, you'll have the option just to switch it over from coming soon to active, and then you'll just save your listing.
I see. The next question by Kevin John. He's asking, is coming soon status, is private showing allowed?
No, no showings at all. So even if you're the listing agent or the listing broker, you cannot show the property. As soon as you want to show the property, it has to be switched over to active, and then you can show the property.
Great. Next one by Henry Cosio. He's asking, what do you mean regarding registered? If the clients want us to sell this property, but do not want it on MLS, you're saying that we cannot market the property?
So you can, if you have a client that your office is working with, then you can advertise or tell them about that property, but you cannot go outside of a disclosure form, meaning you cannot post anything on Zillow, you cannot post a for sale sign up, you cannot post anything on Facebook. No public marketing is allowed if that listing is to be registered or excluded.
Got it. The other question is, an associate reported a property with yard sign not in the MLS. That was 2 weeks ago, and it was still not in the MLS. What penalty does the miscreant suffer?
So if they're found in violation, then they will be receiving a fine, which is 1% of the list price. Okay, so because we're still getting the process down, we are sending communication out requesting that the listing be entered within 1 business day. But if they aren't putting it in the MLS, then they will be found in violation of 7.9, and they will be issued a citation. That's 1% of the list price. If they are repeat offenders, if they keep violating the rule, then what happens at that point is we will write up a summary and hand that over to the association and basically ask the pro standards administrator to take a look and consider additional disciplinary action.
Yeah, thank you. The next one, question by Alvaro Lozino. He's asking, in the coming soon status of the property, can the listing agent open escrow or accept offers from any agent, brokers, or do due agency?
Yes, so in either case, whether it's a dual agency or it's a different listing agent or listing brokerage, then offers can be accepted and can be presented to the seller, right? So you can still accept offers and present them to the seller and have the seller accept it. In doing that though, because you can't show the property, all submissions, all offers that are being presented are blind offers. And that's very important because again, you can't show the property, and that applies to hold as well. If a property is in the status of hold, it's going to have to be a blind offer that's presented to the seller.
Got it. Okay, there's a question here, Megan. To elaborate on what the clear cooperation policy intends to accomplish.
So it was proposed to kind of combat some of the concerns and the issues that we were seeing with listings being advertised and not being in the MLS. There was a lot of frustration with listing agents that were showing properties to a client, and then the client was going on Zillow or another site and finding additional properties. So that was just one of the issues. And so we're basically putting this in place because NER's hope is that all publicly marketed properties will be in the MLS for cooperation. So that way other listing agents like yourselves, other brokerages will be able to see and cooperate with that listing brokerage.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
This question from Cecilia Huang. Any time frame for Kingston?
Can you repeat that one more time for me?
Cecilia is asking, is there any time frame for coming soon?
Well, it has to be submitted within 1 business day of public marketing. Okay, if you are not doing any public marketing at all, once the listing agreement is in effect, then you have 2 business days. So you still have to get that listing in within 2 business days if there's no public marketing. But if you are doing public marketing, then it's 1 business day.
Got it. Just we just have a very limited time to do the coming soon and turn to active, right? Thank you. So another question, Sherry Cao asking, coming soon can upload photos, can put property on Zillow or not? Can you confirm? Do we
So
need
you
to confirm?
can. Yeah, so you can. If the listing is in the MLS as a coming soon property, you can go in and upload, as long as Zillow allows it, you can go in and upload the listing as a coming soon there as well. But just keep in mind that you have to post it as a coming soon listing. So they have to match. The only difference is CRMLS is not sending the data over to Zillow, but you can mark it on there if you want to.
Yes, thank you. Next question is from Mingshen Ho. Mingshen is asking, if home is not ready for another month, no nice picture or listing for the listing. However, the seller want to sign listing agreement with us first. What do we do?
So you can register the property, okay? Or if registered isn't available yet, you can exclude it. So you can exclude the listing. You can't market it to the public, right? So if you want it excluded for a month, you can do that. And then at the end of the registration or at the end of the exclusion period, you can go in as coming soon if you wanted to, or you can submit it as active. That's up to your seller.
Got it. Thank you. Next one from Kevin Zhang. Kevin Zhang is asking how to manage the coming soon status so provide level playground.
Can you repeat the last part? It cut out a little bit for me.
Okay, repeated the question, how to manage the coming soon status so it will provide level playground.
So if you want to go in and modify the status, you can do that. As long as it's in the coming soon status, okay? You can modify it and go from coming soon to active. You cannot go the other way around. So once it's in the status of active, you cannot go back to coming soon. But all you have to do is you go into your listing, you edit it, and then you'll see that status tab, and you'll just change it from coming soon to active. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, and then we want to know the fine. It's a fine is no more than 2,500, right?
Correct. Minimum fine is 500, no more than 2,500, 2,500, but it is based on the list price. So it will be 1% of the list price.
Got it. Thank you. And the other question is from Fang. Fang asking why you allowed coming soon. Sounds like cause a lot of problem.
So what we did, we've never had coming soon before. And what we did was we included coming soon because we wanted to be a little competitive in regards to other MLSs around us. So there are other MLSs that allow coming soon, right? So there's Claw that allows coming soon, or the MLS that allows coming soon. There's other MLSs as well. So in order for us to implement this as best as we can, we wanted to give that transparency to you guys, give you an additional listing status to work with, so that way you can publicly market the property as coming soon and have that reflected in the MLS as well.
Great. Next question from Cecilia, Sil Ruda. Hi, Sil. What if it's an exclusive listing? That means a tenant want to buy. How do we list it?
So if you have a registered property or an excluded property, as soon as you accept that, or as soon as the seller accepts the offer, you would just then put it in the MLS as pending or active under contract. You can, if it's to be excluded for the entire listing agreement period, you can opt to wait until the property closes to enter it, but within 2 business days of accepting the offer, it must be, or it should be added in the MLS as pending or coming soon. I mean, pending or active under contract. So that's something that I wanted to note as well, is that it can go from registered to pending or active under contract. Same with coming soon. Coming soon can go from coming soon to pending or active under contract.
Great. Next one, the question is from Sherry Tao. She's asking, under registered or coming soon, can seller accept offer and open escrow from due agent or the other agent?
Yes. So while in the coming soon or hold status, offers can be presented to the seller. The seller can accept them, but they have to be blind offers because you are not showing the property. With the registered status, because you can show it to a client, it can be a regular offer. It doesn't have to be blind.
Great. This is another question from Ling Huang. Ling is asking, I have a listing contract with the beginning date from May 11, and the seller site 19th start showing after June. What should I put on the status? Thank you.
So if there are no showings until June, you have a couple options. You can either put it as, you can exclude the listing by sending the exclusion form, or you can put it in now as coming soon. Either one will accomplish what you want to do or what the seller wants to do, because in either case, there are no showings or limited showings. So if they don't want to show it until a future date, either one of those will work. It's really just up to the seller and which route they want to take in getting that property in the MLS.
Got it. Nene Ong is asking, seller request is that when published?
Can you repeat that question? It broke up a little bit for me.
Okay. If seller requests exclusive from MLS, seller requests exclusion from when listing is allowed. Can they put a thing? I think Nene, are you asking if seller want to put a exclusive service from MLS, but can we still promote by pocket listing first? Allowed it.
So I'm not sure I understand the question. Is the question it wants to be excluded for the entire listing agreement period, but then still entered as a comp?
Can they still perform pocket listing if a seller requests exclusion from MLS? If seller don't want to do I think the seller don't want to do the MLS exclusion from MLS, can they do the pocket listing? Is the pocket listing allowed?
So if you have an exclusion, if you have a listing agreement that's with that seller and there's no way to really not put it on the MLS and still obtain that listing, because you are still required to put all listings in the MLS or exclude the listing or register the listing once that's available. So you can't really not put it in the MLS, not tell us about it, and still represent that seller. You have to either register the listing or submit the exclusion form. And while you're doing that, you can market to other clients, but you still have to let us know that you have that exclusion. So if the seller doesn't want to exclude it, then you're pretty much left with the requirement that you have to enter it in the MLS.
Yes, I think this will be the most popular question we want to clarify and know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the best answer from you. Right now, we are so clear. This is really, everybody say, how do we handle the pocket listing? Can we still do that? Yeah,
Yeah.
and we don't want to get fined. I
Right.
think this is very important. Thank you. Okay, this is a very important point. We attend the meeting today. And the other one, Sherry Cao is asking, what is blind offer? Blind offer. How do we handle it?
So a blind offer is basically an offer that's being presented to the seller without ever seeing the property. That's all it means. It just means that there was no showing done, there was no virtual showing or any showing of any kind done. So they're basically providing an offer or submitting an offer sight unseen.
Got it. Okay, you got a lot of questions coming in. Okay, Henry, you're so popular. A question coming. How can you legally stop advertisement of the property if the client does not want it on MLS? Challenging, right?
Yeah,
Want
so it
me
will
to
create,
sell?
yeah, it will create a challenge because if you are not marketing the property yet, then and they don't want the listing on the MLS, then you are basically bound. You can't, right? There's no way to publicly market and not have it in the MLS. If you are marketing already
Yeah,
and they decide later that they don't want any marketing anymore, then you literally have to take down all the signs. You have to take down any advertisements that you have up. Anything that's already been distributed, like flyers, that would be okay because you can't really take that back. But you have to make an effort to remove all advertising. Now you can still work with that agent. I mean, you can still work with that seller and work with other agents, but you just can't publicly market the property if they don't want you to. And that being the case, you actually have to then change the status as well in the MLS to coming soon or hold. Hold or withdrawn would be the most appropriate because they don't syndicate out, but any one of those statuses would be appropriate in that scenario.
got it, got it. Yeah, yeah. I still have the second part of Henry Cosio's, have a second part of this question. I read it again for if clients want me to sell it and you are prohibiting me to market unless I put it as active.
Well, you can still market as in the status of coming soon or hold. So you still have those two statuses available to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be inactive. But if they don't want any public marketing done on their property, you're pretty much, that's the seller's instruction. So in that case, you still have to make the listing reflect what the seller is asking you for.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And then the question is from Sil Ruda. Sil asking, if you have a blind listing and the offer states subject inspection, does it have to go active?
Well, it doesn't have to go to active, but if you are going to show that property, then you have to change it to active prior to showing. Yeah, so that's really something that I can't advise on the business part of the process, but I can tell you that if you are going to go ahead and show that property, you have to update the status to active.
Megan, I think Pauline is breaking up, so you didn't hear the whole question. It's talking about inspection when it's offer. If you have a blind listing and the offer is, hold on, they just moved. And the offer stays subject to inspection, does it have to go active?
Well, if the property is being shown, whether it's to an inspector or to the seller, because sometimes the potential buyer will go with the inspector. If that's the case, then it has to be changed to active, yes.
Thank you. Pauline, go ahead.
Yes, we have the other question is from John Hua. John is asking, what if seller wants to exclude on MLS, but only market on broker websites or Zillow only? Can we do that?
So you cannot, it has to be in the MLS as well. So if you're posting on a broker website that's going out to the public, or you're posting something on Zillow and the public is seeing it, it also has to be in the MLS.
I see. Thank you so much. And the other one from Susan Wang. I currently have a listing in MLS as in the status in hold. Do I need to make any change?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Can they come?
Okay, so Susan, let me repeat it. So I think Susan is asking like if I have a listing in the MLS. Actually, I have a listing. It's already in the MLS, but the status is on hold, put on hold. Do I need to make any change? Like if I want to change it, I think Susan asking if do I need to change it back active, or I just still put it on hold? If I want to put on hold and back to the market, what is the procedures? Do I just put it on back on the active, or I just put it coming soon and active? I believe this is the question.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So if you are currently, if you have a listing on hold, then you would just go in, edit it, and then change it back to active. That's all you have to do. Because it's not starting in the coming soon status, there's no way to go back and use that status. So you would just leave it on hold until the seller wants to show the property or move forward, and then you would change it to active at that time.
So that means we don't go back past tense. Just like starting today, if I have a property, I want to market it today, and then if I want to use the coming soon, I just choose a coming soon, but it will be on the market, back to the market to be active next day, right?
Well, if you have a listing that's already in the MLS and it's not in the status of coming soon, you cannot use coming soon for that listing. The coming soon status is only available for new listings being entered in the MLS.
Got it. We still have 3 questions. We'll take last 3 questions. Okay, the first one is from Hernandez. Robert asking, how do we file an additional, how do we file an additional SELM if needed?
So until registered becomes available, you'll get either a new form, a new SELM, or a modification of terms, and you'll just have the new exclusion period dated there, and then you'll submit that to us online like you are now, like you always have been. And then if it's after the registered status, then you'll just still get the modification of terms and you'll still get the exclusion form, but you just will keep it on file. You don't have to submit it to us. If the registered listing is needing to be updated, you would just go in, update the showing start date, and that's all you have to do.
Grace Chen want to ask him, can you display the difference of the coming soon and active again?
Sure. So active works as it always has, right? So we are allowing marketing, we're allowing showings. We are sending the information out to Zillow, Trulia, all the other third-party sites. Days on market is being accumulated. So everything that has been in effect with active is still the same. Now, coming soon, you can market the property. You can't show it at all. You are not getting any days on market accumulated because it's not fully able to be displayed or promoted as a true active listing. You're also limited to the 21 days for that status, and we won't send it out to Zillow, Trulia, or all the other sites. So it's very, very different. There are limitations.
Great. It's so clear right now. And the last 2, David Liang. David is asking, what about the lease? For lease, can only show in Zillow?
Yeah, lease properties. So property types in residential lease are able to be marketed without having to be entered. So you still should be submitting the exclusion form or registering it if you don't want it on the MLS, but you can go on Zillow and market it as a coming soon, because the clear cooperation policy only is for residential 1 to 4 units, and residential vacant lots.
Great. The last question, this question coming from Jenny Ching. We have a listing that's currently excluded. If I need to extend the exclusion period, do I need to refile a new SELM form?
Yes, or a modification of terms. Either one will be accepted, and that's only until registered becomes available. After registered becomes available, you'll still need to get the form, but you just don't submit it to us.
Great. Wow, Megan, we experienced very practical 1 hour with you.
Mm-hmm.
This is, we want to thank you. What a wonderful and complete explanation to make us have a very clear cooperation policy to follow. Thank you again, Megan, appreciate.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day, and thank you, Pauline.
Thank you so much. On behalf of West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, we would like to thank Megan Barber for your wonderful and informative presentation. Please make sure to attend our virtual education classes. A list of the upcoming classes is displayed on the screen. Thank you, everyone, for joining our meeting today. We hope to see you again. Come to join our affiliates home inspection panel discussion next week. Please remember, support our affiliates with your coming transactions. Have a happy and safe Memorial Weekend. This meeting is now adjourned. Stay safe, stay well. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much.